Who really shot E.J.? The shocking truth, the trial twist, and the DiMera family implosion this summer in Salem. The summer heat in Days of Our Lives isn't just from the weather, it's from the courtroom drama that's about to erupt in Salem. A high-stakes trial is heading our way, one that will shake the very core of the DiMera dynasty. Who shot E.J. DiMera? For months, fans have speculated, accusations have flown, and alibis have crumbled. Now, as the trial begins to unfold, we're finally closing in on the truth, and it's more twisted, more emotional, and more heartbreaking than anyone expected. Because here's the truth, it was Stefan DiMera who shot his own brother, E.J. Yes, you read that right. Stefan. The long-lost, presumed dead DiMera son. The one who disappeared to Alemania under mysterious circumstances. The one who sent a strange, out-of-place, get-well card to E.J. while he was recovering. That card was more than just an odd gesture, it was a clue. A quiet confession. A ghost from the past whispering through ink and paper. And the story behind why he pulled the trigger is a tangled web of betrayal, rivalry, and unresolved trauma. The trial, a town on edge. Let's start at the surface, the trial. Salem's courtroom will soon become the stage for the most explosive legal showdown the town has seen in years. At first glance, it seems like a straightforward case. E.J. DiMera, shot and nearly killed, with no memory of his assailant. Ava Vitali was arrested. Johnny DiMera became a suspect. Even young Rachel Black's name surfaced in whispered rumors. But as the layers peel back, the case only grows more complex. Ray Fernandez and Jada Hunter are spearheading the investigation, with Sean Douglas Brady trying to hold the family tensions at bay. Jada has already declared that her weapons were locked up tight the night of the shooting, giving her an airtight alibi. The same can't be said for others. Kristen DiMera's gun was cleared by ballistics, but she remains under scrutiny, not just for what she did, but what she may be hiding. Because someone in the DiMera family knows the truth. And they've been hiding it for a reason. Meanwhile, Chanel Dupree is starting to question her instincts. She's not sure Johnny was innocent anymore. Not because she thinks he's guilty, but because he's holding something back. She sees it in his eyes, hears it in his voice when the subject of the shooting comes up. There's guilt there. But not because he pulled the trigger. No, he's hiding the truth about what he saw that night. The Johnny Rachel misdirection earlier spoilers suggested that Johnny DiMera pointed a gun at his father but couldn't go through with it. In that moment of paralysis, the gun was left unattended, and Rachel Black may have picked it up. Some speculated she pulled the trigger. Kristen was rumored to be willing to confess just to keep her daughter out of trouble, a desperate mother's act of protection. But now, that theory is beginning to unravel. As it turns out, that version of the story was a smokescreen, a clever, emotionally charged red herring. Johnny never truly saw who shot E.J. Rachel may have been in the room, but she didn't fire the weapon. She may have witnessed it all, which would explain her recent emotional spiral. Brady and Kristen have been concerned about her mental health, but what if it's not trauma from her own actions, but from what she saw that night? The card that said too much. Now let's go back to that mysterious card. A "get well soon" note from Stefan DiMera, sent to the brother he supposedly hasn't seen in years. On its own, the gesture might seem strange. Why send anything at all if he's in hiding? Why risk exposure? But the card was a message. A subtle, symbolic olive branch. Or perhaps a taunt. Because Stefan isn't just lurking in the shadows, he's been watching. Waiting. Planning. And he has a reason for what he did. According to sources close to the writers, the card wasn't originally in the script. It was added in post-production after Brandon Barish was spotted filming on set again. The buzz behind the scenes is that new head writers want to resurrect the fractured Stefan E.J. storyline, and this time, push it to the limit. Fans have been clamoring for Brandon's return, and now we know, Stefan's back. And he's carrying a secret that's about to detonate in court. Why did Stefan shoot EJ? To understand Stefan's motivation, you have to go back, way back, into the dark, bitter history of the DiMera brothers. They may have shared a last name, but they never shared loyalty or love. Stefan always felt like the outsider. He wasn't born into the family like EJ. He had to fight for recognition. For power. For love. And EJ? EJ always made it known that he was the heir. The favorite. The true DiMera. It all came to a head the night of the shooting. Stefan had returned quietly to Salem, hoping to see Gabby again. But what he found instead was betrayal. EJ had been meddling in Gabby's affairs, sabotaging her company, manipulating her decisions, even influencing who she could trust. Stefan believed EJ was trying to erase his memory from Gabby's life. That night, Stefan confronted his brother in the DiMera mansion. Voices were raised. Tempers flared. EJ taunted Stefan, calling him a ghost. A mistake. Stefan snapped. He didn't come to kill his brother, but years of pain, rejection, and rivalry exploded in that moment. The gun, Kristen's gun, was on the table. In a flash, Stefan picked it up and pulled the trigger. The aftermath. Cover-ups and consequences. In the chaos that followed, Stefan vanished again. Kristen found EJ bleeding on the floor and assumed the worst. Johnny walked in seconds later and, not knowing the whole story, assumed he was to blame for not stopping it. Rachel witnessed it all from the hallway and has been emotionally scarred ever since. Kristen decided to take control of the narrative. She fed the investigators just enough misleading information to keep Stefan's name off their radar. Meanwhile, she tried to keep Rachel's trauma contained, even if it meant risking her own freedom. Gabby, meanwhile, was caught in a web of suspicion, all while silently mourning the man she thought she'd lost forever. Now, as the trial begins, the real story is ready to come to light. Jada, Sean, and JJ are putting the pieces together. And soon, a name once thought dead will be uttered in court, Stefan DiMera. What happens next? Will Stefan return to Salem to face the consequences of his actions? Or will he strike first and try to take over DiMera Enterprises in a power move worthy of his legacy? Will EJ, once he recovers fully, seek revenge? Or forgiveness? And what will Gabby do when she learns that the man she mourned for so long is alive, and capable of such violence? The trial is just the beginning. A DiMera civil war is coming, and this time, no one will escape unscathed. Vivian Alamain. The mother who created a monster, how she kidnapped Stefan and made a dark deal to take down EJ Salem is never a place for peace. Secrets are always buried just beneath the surface, waiting for the right storm to rip them open. And now, that storm has a name, Vivian Alamain, the most conniving, unpredictable woman to ever walk the halls of the DiMera mansion. But this time, she's not coming back alone. No, she's bringing a secret weapon, Stefan O. DiMera, the son believed to be dead. But in truth, he was kidnapped, by his own mother. That's right. This wasn't some tragic accident. Stefan didn't disappear into the abyss. He was taken, locked away, in a carefully constructed plot crafted by Vivian herself. And the goal? Simple. To use Stefan to win back Gabby Hernandez at any cost, even if it meant shooting EJ. The kidnapping that was planned all along. After Stefan was pronounced dead, the world mourned. Gabby grieved. The DiMera family moved on. But not Vivian. She never believed her son was truly gone. In her twisted heart, she knew he was still out there, and if he was, she was going to take matters into her own hands. Behind the scenes, Vivian hired a team of shadowy figures, medical professionals from the remote country of Alemania. A private clinic, an off-the-grid facility, a prison disguised as a hospital. And within it, Stefan, unconscious, kept alive, not out of mercy, but for strategy. Vivian didn't do this out of hatred. She did it because she wanted control. Control over Stefan's future, his heart, his legacy. She had always despised Gabby, believing she'd led her son to ruin. But as time passed, Vivian had a revelation: Gabby was the key. Gabby was the trigger. Gabby was the weapon. The unholy agreement between mother and son. When Stefan finally woke up, he was confused, furious, betrayed. And who was there waiting? His mother, calmly sitting at his bedside. She didn't apologize. She didn't explain away her actions. She looked her son in the eyes and said, "The world may think you're dead, but I haven't buried you. And if you want your life back, if you want Gabby back, you'll have to listen to me." Then came the pitch. Vivian laid it all out like a chessboard. EJ had taken control of DiMera Enterprises. Gabby had been pushed to the sidelines. If EJ were out of the picture, even temporarily, Stefan could return, reclaim his name, his love, and his throne. At first, Stefan refused. He wasn't a killer. He wasn't a monster. But Vivian didn't need a killer, she needed a strategist, someone who could pull a trigger with just enough precision to send a message, not take a life. And slowly, night after night, Vivian wore him down, feeding him justifications, memories of betrayals, and visions of a life with Gabby. Until finally, he agreed. A deal with the devil, one bullet to win it all. The plan was brutal in its simplicity. Stefan would sneak back into Salem under cover of darkness, completely undetected. Using the help of a loyal DiMera staff member still loyal to Vivian, he would enter the mansion's library, EJ's favorite late-night haunt. One bullet. Fired with care. Just enough to wound. Enough to remove EJ from the equation, but not kill him. And then, Stefan would vanish again, leaving a crime scene that pointed fingers everywhere else. Kristen. Johnny. Even young Rachel. The town would chase red herrings, while Stefan quietly watched from the shadows. Meanwhile, Vivian would sit back, smiling like the queen of chaos, knowing that every piece was falling perfectly into place. Why did Stefan do it? The pain behind the gunshot. Stefan didn't pull the trigger because he was evil. He did it because he loved Gabby. Deeply. Passionately. He believed that if EJ was out of the way, he could return to her and rebuild what they once had. He hated EJ. For years, EJ undermined him, mocked him, sabotaged his business deals, and treated him like a second-rate DiMera. That gunshot wasn't just about strategy. It was about justice. Emotion. Pride. Stefan didn't want EJ dead. He wanted him broken. Humbled. Removed. But what Stefan didn't realize is this: Gabby isn't the same woman he left behind. She's stronger. Smarter. And maybe, she won't be so quick to forgive. What happens now? A future covered in shadows. The truth is about to unravel. Will EJ remember the face of the man who pulled the trigger? Will Gabby welcome Stefan back with open arms, or with fury? Will Vivian lose control when her creation turns against her? Because let's be clear, Vivian and Stefan have made a deal with the devil, and in Salem, every deal has a cost. The DiMera family is teetering on the edge of civil war. The courtroom battles are just the beginning. Behind the scenes, mother and son have set in motion a chain of events that will bring Salem to its knees. One shot. One love. One betrayal. The storm has only just begun.